A very good morning to all of my students. Today we are going to discuss a very important question of industrial analysis that is considered to be industrial life cycle. So industrial life cycle depends upon how the customer's need and customer preferences rise and fall in the market itself. So here we are going to discuss the four stages of the industry that is related to the introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage and the stagnation stage. So firstly, we'll understand that what are the contents of the industrial life cycle. It is the rise and fall of customers' interest, depend upon extent of technology and innovation, and each phase phases from the four stages. That is an introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage, and the declining stage. Now these are the basic features of all the stages. So in the introduction stage, we have new products introduced with high prices, and although there is a very little know-how and information, a variety of methods of usages are devised. There is a limited number of people who like the product service forms a community. And then in the growth stage, we see that the product supply stabilizes and prices starts to drop, know-how accumulates and new users increases, and the volume of information transmitted also increases. In the maturity stage, there is a mass production. Cheap products are supplied and the products become well known and the user numbers also stabilizes. The new information ceases to be transmitted. And in the declining stage, we have product supply decreases as sales, user number also declines, and there are new users also decline. So here we are seeing the diagram representation of how this industrial life cycle moves. So first of all, we have a market scale, it rises, then we have network game, and then we have, they have taken an example here like robots and popular show business personality, and then IT gadgets came, then there were PCs, digital cameras, autos, travel, then the comic, analog, audio, visual equipments, and then cameras and the railways. So these are the various stages. Now, what are the features of industrial life cycle? As comparison, if we want to do about marketing, in introduction stage there is a high advertising and skimming pricing. In the growth stage we have high advertising. In the maturity we have market segmentation services, and in the declining the low advertising is being done. And if we take the concept of manufacturing, in the introduction stage, there is an undercapacity, high production cost is being there. In the growth stage, it shifts to undercapacity, shifts to high production. And in the maturity stage, optimum capacity is being utilized. And declining, we have overcapacity and mass production. Then according to competition, as we see, the introduction stage, the competition is very low, and in the growth stage we have many competitors, and in the maturity we have a price competition, and in decline there are a fewer competitors left, and we almost exits the market. Then if we see the risk, in the introduction stage the risk is very high. In the growth we have growth versus risk, and in the maturity we have a low risk, and in the declining we are having a very high risk. Then if we take the margins, if we take margin, so in the growth stage, the high but low profit is there. The second stage, high and high prices are there, high profits are there. Then in the third stage, we have low margins due to price wars, and in the last stage, we have very low profits. The strategy, if we talk about, we have increased market share in the growth stage. Then in the second stage, we have quality change, and there is a price image also. In the third stage, we have marketing effectiveness as a strategy that is working it out. And in the declining stage, we are going by the cost control. Then these are certain tools for industrial analysis. They can be both qualitative as well as quantitative. Then in the qualitative, we can have cross-sectional industry performance over time, difference in industry risk, and there could be SWOT analysis and competition over industry life cycle. And in the quantitative analysis, we have employment data, then we have emoluments data, and the input-output analysis is there. Now here we can take into consideration each part of analysis, but according to your question, it is not basically required. And here we can just see that the key to success could be the SWOT analysis. Now the SWOT analysis is a very important point. Here you have to analyze your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threat. So we have to assess the strength and the weaknesses. We have to see the internal capability of the industry, how it's going to work. Then competitive advantage has to be taken into account, and whatever weaknesses you have to defend your weaknesses, right? And about opportunities and threat, evaluate opportunity and even your threat. You have to see the environmental trend. The external situations has to be analyzed. Your competitive forces, technology and government regulations has to be seen. So these are all strengths and weaknesses, and opportunities and threats we can even see. We can have threat to new entrant, we have threat to new technology, there could be some barriers, there could be some unfavorable situations, and for opportunity there could be favorable condition in environment, there could be trend or need, growing market of industry products, shrinking competition, and identification of new market. So here we just see the internal environment, how it's going to see that if there is a threat and opportunity on one side and strength and weaknesses on the other side. So external environment is there and internal environment is there. So you have four kinds of opportunities that you can confront, okay, your threat, and you can exploit your strength, then you can search your weaknesses, and you can avoid your threat. So this way you can do the SWOT analysis, okay. So that will be all for today. That is for industrial analysis. And if you are going to attempt the question of industrial analysis, you first have to write down the meaning of industrial analysis. Then you can give the features of the industrial analysis, and then you can start up with the process of industrial life cycle. So the question of industrial life cycle is really, really important from your paper viewpoint. And I have discussed here the process of industrial life cycle, the stages, and how you are going to do the SWOT analysis for the industry as well. Thank you so much.